What's up? We're gonna be transcending duality. That's the goal, that's the plan, that's what I'm thinking. This is my thought process. Okay, so basically, you know, the yin and yang, angel, devil, heaven, hell, right? All of these concepts are the same. So the thing about the world is that we like to say that there's two polarities. There's good and bad. There's right and wrong. But that's not true. All of that is just energy because we've made up, right, these man-made concepts, words, and religions. What were we prior to all of this, right? The whole thing about energy, Newton's law, is an object will remain at rest until there's a force, reacted upon it, which also states that we are actually in control of every single thing we feel. So basically, in order to transcend duality, we have to do a lot of mental work. There's a lot of work that has to be done in order for us to reach the light, because the common concept of the world has been and was forever like there can't be good without bad, there can't be right without wrong. But that's a lie. Because if you get to a place of unconditional love, there's no right or wrong, because you understand that no one means right or wrong. We are all born inherently good. We were all just born as pure energy and frequency, right? We were born as a pure person, right? And we had all this fear and needs of survival that were projected on us over, thousands of centuries, thousands of years, because humans had an attachment to survival itself. You have to ask yourself, why are you so afraid to die? Because that is the number one thing that's going to keep you stuck suffering all the time. Because why are you fearing something that's inevitable? I could die tomorrow. I could die in 20 years. Why am I running around doing everything to avoid death or being uncomfortable, right? Because death isn't something scary or painful. It's actually so beautiful because, the energy of your soul can finally leave your body and you can be in the astral world and go wherever and do whatever you want. And it's like, this is actually living in hell, while we're here. And so if we want to create a heaven on earth, we have to basically eradicate and purge out all of the fear that we have within our bodies. Now, this seems like a complex, intense topic, but I've figured it out, and this is kind of my game plan, I guess. I guess the roots of being a human being, come from thinking and reacting, thinking something and reacting, right? No more beyond conscious thought outside, the normal material 3D world. So no one really knows how to get what they want out of reality, how to live their dreams. It's been centuries and generations of just suffering and, just working for basic rights. And that makes me sick to think about, because we literally have a world outside that we could be growing stuff out of, resources, vibes, are everywhere. We came to Earth with nothing at one point. I just think that it's important for us to remember where we came from. And in terms of energy, if everyone on Earth were to process their emotions without reacting before they finish the entire thought process, we could eventually work our way to unconditional love and peace on Earth. Because think about it this way. I am retraining my brain pathways right now. So every time I experience a feeling of shame or hurt or embarrassment or anxiety, anything that does not feel good inside my body, if I feel depression, I take myself out, mentally, and I go, okay, we need to observe our brain from conscious awareness only. If you identify with all of the thoughts you're having and start acting on them, you're emotionally, energetically charging them. You're just reacting off the feeling, but we are so much more than that. What I do when I experience emotion is I immediately get alone, because I know I'm a very volatile, crazy, emotionally reactive, just when I feel an emotion, it's the end of the world. It's actually the end of the world. I feel it's life or death. So emotions have been something I've tried to suppress my whole life, but I realized, that caused me a lot of pain actually to suppress them. And so if you're looking at your emotions from a neutral standpoint, and if you're looking at your emotions as neither right or wrong, good or bad, including other people as well, right? You can't view other people as good or bad, because that is you. Your perception of someone else is actually a reflection of you inside. So it's important to remember there is no such thing as right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It's all perception. And, people will come at me well, what about killing someone, or, something along those lines. But at the end of the day, that person is killing out of fear because of something, that happened to them growing up. We're not born serial killers. That's absurd. So it's important to acknowledge an emotion when you have it and actually deep dive into it. And then over time, our neural pathways will start getting retrained when we remind ourselves, you're not supposed to feel shame. You're not supposed to feel blame. You're not supposed to feel embarrassment. You're not supposed to feel depressed, because you're a human being. God forbid we make a mistake, nobody's perfect. I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. literally that part. Like, we have to understand that we're not perfect, and that's how we can accept ourselves and each other. I cannot reiterate enough how important it is to not think that happy is a good thing or sad is a good thing, or vice versa. We put so much positive connotations and positive frequency words upon emotions, when again, emotions are energy in motion. So, you know, like, you can't do that. But we've created a society where we praise happiness and we get upset about sadness, or we diminish sadness and praise happiness. And that is so wrong, because so many of our emotions can teach us so many good things. And there's so many times I've been happy and I've done not good things when I'm really happy. So it's important to not only forgive yourself, do not judge yourself. Every single thing that you could think of that's negative in your mind doesn't actually belong there, right? But since we've been trying to just survive on the planet, that's what's been happening, like, over time, right? So I guess my method to retraining neural pathways so we can, you know, make our way up is basically, I mean, when I'm experiencing emotion, I immediately think, I always just ask myself why, you know, like, hey, like, you're feeling sad right now. Is there something from your past that also is similar to this situation? I'll give an example of a trigger. I get really upset when people ask me what's wrong with me, or why am I like this, or you're definitely different, or I've never met anyone like you, because my whole life, like, I was different because of what I went through. So I was trying to protect myself my whole life because of all the fear that was in me and all of the trauma or abuse or whatever you want to call it. And so my whole life I was just weird and different because I had been through so much, right? And so everyone else also shamed me for the way that I was protecting myself, right? And so in that process, I just ended up not wanting to be alive anymore, because I was like, the version that I've created to protect myself, I'm not fulfilled with the version of myself that I created over time, right? So I would feel really upset when someone would, you know, comment on something like that. This is just a personal example. You can apply this to your life or whatever. But so instead of reacting, right? Like, let's say someone says, oh God, you're so weird. Instead of, you know, being like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you say that to me? Or like doing something, like, instead of reacting to what that person's saying to me, I'm going to smile and walk away. Because number one, they are showing you that they actually think they're weird, and your light is triggering their darkness, actually. So once you realize that all of it's a mirror, and, you know, your perception of me is a reflection of you, you aren't going to react so intensely to the person directly, right? Understand that it's triggering something from your past, right? Something that happened when you were younger, or a belief that you know, carried one day. And so for me, like, when that happens, I come up with a respectful way to address the problem, right? There was this one shift while I was at work, and someone came up to me and they were like, oh my God, you know, the manager's calling you dumb, or he's calling one of us dumb right now. Like, oh my God, like, can you believe that? I already learned at this point how to control myself. So I was able to let out the fiery energy I had inside in a respectful way. But again, it's your choice how you want to embody that energy. It doesn't matter why he called me dumb and what his perception of me was, but it's the fact that he wanted to basically get closer to the other workers, because, you know, people talked really badly about him. So I was his scapegoat in order to bond with, you know, the other coworkers, which hurt me because I felt like, you know, that happened a lot in my life. And not only calling me dumb, which is triggering because people have always called me dumb my entire life, and I've always just felt so inadequate. I'm gonna cry. Whoa, I did not think I was gonna cry. I'm really emotional. Like, I'm triggered by talking. So normally Marissa from the past would just walk away and honestly let it go. Because when I first heard it, I wasn't offended. And that's the thing about me, is people have made fun of me my whole life. And I honestly think it's funny. Like, I agree with them. Like, they're funny. Like, if you make fun of me, like, I'll probably just laugh with you. And I've always been that way. And it's not because I can't stand up for myself, but it's because, like, I genuinely think that the joke is funny and I'm not taking it personal, because, like, I accept myself, you know? But with him, it was disrespectful because he wasn't saying it to my face. If you're gonna call me dumb and talk shit about me, do it to my face and we can bond about it, you know? But, like, the fact that he was just trying to whisper and be all, like, cowardly about it, I was just like, I don't think so. So basically, I was like, okay, I need to, like, pull him aside. I was like, where is he? So I go find him in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, we need to talk. And I pull him around the side in front of everyone. And I'm like, okay, so it's been brought to my attention, because this happened multiple times. He didn't just tell one coworker. He told, like, 3 different coworkers in the same hour. It's been brought to my attention that you've been going around and calling me dumb, and I just think that that's extremely unprofessional as my manager. But if we're just talking about, like, neutrality, like, technically he didn't mean wrong by talking bad about me. He was just insecure inside, you know? So, I mean, like, I'm not offended because it just shows who he is at the end of the day. But I was able to confront him in a very respectful way, but I still used that powerful anger that I felt inside. But I used it for passion. I used it for good. Like, I didn't scream at him, and I didn't quit my job on the spot like I used to. Like, I would literally just quit a job, like, if someone, like, made me too mad. So it's important to understand, like, why you actually feel why you do, and understand that it's no one's fault, you know? Like, you can't blame your emotional reactions on other people. Like, at the end of the day, it's not their problem at all. But at the same time, we have to be better about not spreading negativity. And I know negativity is relative. Because some people interpret love as fear because of the way they grew up, right? They don't have the right concepts of what love and fear actually is. Because I know, intentionally, since we're all inherently good, I know that everyone means well, right? But a lot of people, assume when you say something nasty or mean to someone that it's coming from a bad place, but it's coming out of that person protecting themselves because they are so scared. Reminding ourselves that we are human beings. We are unconditional love. We love ourselves. We love each other because we were just born here. I didn't get to choose what I look like. I didn't get to choose what I went through in my life. I didn't get to choose any of it, right? And that's the dangerous thing about stereotypes is I feel like I've been stereotyped my whole life, as in I've had some perfect life or something, which has always been triggering to me because it's like you're just looking at what I look like and assuming because I look this way I haven't been through something. But it's like, and so it's really important never to judge a book by its cover. I'm so sad. I can't stop. You just should not judge a book by its cover because you don't know what's inside. We came from nothing, we came from energy, we came from cells, and we can't be mean to each other. We can't fear each other. We really, need to become united as one because I want to connect with people. Oh God, I'm spitting. I want to connect with people so bad. That's my favorite thing to do ever, is to talk to people. And I want to learn more, I want to grow, and we can't grow if we're so divided. So don't identify with your feelings. Realize the energy that's going through you isn't good or bad. There's roots to it. You can acknowledge it and then move forward. If you want to watch my mentalness, you can add my Snap. I keep promoting it, but I really go hard on Snap. I always have, so. There's so many roots that go to feeling hatred, right? It can be out of fear. There's so many things that cause that rage, anger, energy, that's correlated with hate. And what I've realized is you are unconsciously not only denying yourself when you deny someone else, but you are also telling yourself you can't have whatever someone else has. So if you compare your life to someone else's, right, and you're like, oh, well, and you make excuses for why they're living life the way that they're living, you're telling yourself you don't actually deserve to live that life also. And it's just holding you back. You are also telling yourself that you don't deserve to live a life like them, or you can't do it. And that's a form of self-neglect, dehumanization. You can do whatever you want. And the only thing stopping you is your fear and your emotions. So once you can understand that that's just a concept and it's just energy and it's not reality, we can literally be free. We are in the age of Aquarius officially, and Aquarius is the sign of technology. It's the alien of the zodiac. It is being authentic. It is being unique. It's being who you are and being a humanitarian. That's the vibes over the next 20 years. And we're going to be seeing a lot of technological advancements as well. So we're not going to be having to work so much, and it's going to be a beautiful time. So hopefully by the time that Pluto enters Pisces, because Pisces is a sign of spirituality and peace and the peacekeeper, spiritual warrior, self-sacrificial vibes. By the age of Pisces should be the age of peace. I'm really excited. I can't wait, and do something good for someone today out of love, not out of lack. And I hope your week is so good. Let's make this world brighter.